Okay, so today we are going to need 2 blocks, a blanket and a strap. If you don't have all of those things, a towel will work. A blanket can be substituted with a towel. A towel can also substitute for a strap, and a pillow can substitute for a block, or maybe depending upon how we did it, your towel can also work for that. So today we're going to start actually lying down on our backs. So I want you to just take a moment to lie down on your back. If you have a strap or your strap substitute, have that somewhere nearby. And you're just going to take a moment to lie down. And the first thing I want you to notice is what it feels like to lay in that awkward, vulnerable position of Shavasana. So seeing if you can let your legs open about maybe hip distance or outer hip distance apart. Let the arms open out to the sides. Notice what it feels like to just roll the shoulders underneath you so your palms face up. And then I want you to just take 3 to 5 breaths here and just observe where it feels like the body is touching the floor, where you feel the back of the skull touching the shoulder blades, the elbows, the hands, your hips, your thighs, your calves, and your heels. And you're just going to take this as a moment to just notice where the body is at the starting point. And we'll come back to the shape at the very end. And I just want you to observe whatever you happen to observe. And then we're going to start to tone our breath. So I want you to take a big breath in through the nose and an audible breath out through the mouth. And you'll do 2 more like that. Big breath in, filling the whole torso with breath. And a big breath out. And the last one, big breath in. And big breath out. Gently close your lips and continue to inhale consciously through the nose and exhale consciously through the nose. And as we go through the remainder of our practice, your invitation is always to focus on the breath. And if you can keep the breath loud enough for you to hear it, it will help anchor the mind. And if at any point in time, anything else that I say to you feels like too much, no worries. You just come back to the breath and remember that that's the only thing that matters anyways. All right. At the end of your next exhale, we're going to gently bend both of our knees and plant your feet firmly on the floor. When you have both knees bent, both feet on the floor, take a moment to just notice what the back feels like now, and then draw your right knee into your chest. Interlace your hands on the front of the shin or the back of the thigh, and you'll just take a few little ankle circles here with that right foot, really hugging the right knee into the chest, feeling what it feels like to really circle the whole foot, the whole ankle. Yep. And be sure to go both directions. And again, you're just paying attention to what it feels like to breathe here. Some of you might then find little circles in the hip joint by moving the leg around just a little bit. And you might create little circles going one way and then little circles going the other way with the hip, or rather with the knee in the hip. And you're just paying attention to what this feels like in the body. And when you feel balanced between both directions, you'll go ahead and come to stillness. From here, let's interlace our hands at the back of our thigh. I want you to really pull your leg towards you and then straighten your right leg and kick it away. So straighten your right leg up towards the sky, kick your right leg away from you and pull it in actively with your hands, and you'll hold for 3, you'll hold for 2, you'll hold for 1, release that and notice if the leg can come closer to you. Awesome. And then we're going to do that 2 more times. So you'll kick the leg away, you'll reach the right foot up, you'll pull the right thigh in, and you're just kicking, 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 pulling, 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 little stretch of the hamstring, and then you'll release that and notice if the leg can come closer to you. Yeah. And then 3rd time's the charm. Go ahead and straighten that leg if it's not. Kick the leg away from you, pull it in actively. And so you're kicking the leg away as you pull it in, and it's just gently stretching the back of the hamstring. And then you'll gently release and bend the knee in. From here, if you have that strap, go ahead and strap it around the ball of your right foot. Use your towel in the same way. You might bring it around the ball of the foot. Yep. And then you'll reach your foot back up towards the sky, and you'll just take a few breaths here. Again, you're still pushing the right heel up to the sky, the right thigh away from you. If you're happy here with the left knee bent, you'll stay here. Otherwise, you'll reach your left leg long on the floor beneath you. And you'll just take 4, yep, there you go, Carrie, 4 gentle breaths here. And you want to keep your head on the floor as much as possible, the shoulder blades on the floor as much as possible, and you're really reaching up with that right foot. Awesome. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will draw both ends of that strap into your left hand. You'll then bring your right hand to your right hip. Push your right hip away from your face. Keep your right butt cheek on the floor and cross the right leg a few inches to the left. So it's just a few inches. Your butt does not leave the floor. You're pushing out through the foot and you're feeling all this crazy stuff happening on the back of the right leg, maybe into the right hip, and then see if you can breathe. Maybe notice the rotation happening in your abdomen towards the right as you draw that right hip away from you and cross the right leg to the left. Nice job. On your next in-breath, go ahead and come back up through center. Bend your right knee into your chest. Release your strap. And really pull that right knee towards your outer right armpit. So it'll open just a little bit. Keep your left bum on the floor. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will grab the outside edge of your right foot with your right hand and reach your right knee to the floor, your right foot up towards the sky for half happy baby. And you'll just pause and you'll breathe. There you go. And you'll notice if you can keep your left hip really rooted as you breathe here. Nice job. On your next exhale, gently release your foot, hug the knee back into center. Plant your right foot on the floor, and then lower your left foot or draw your left foot up to meet your right. So both knees are bent. Notice what's happening in the pelvis. And then as you're ready, we'll switch sides. So you'll draw your left knee into your chest, hold onto the front of the shin or the back of the thigh. And the first thing you start with is just a few little ankle circles. And you just want to really allow these circles to be as big, as full, as fluid as you can be. And be sure to go both sides, both directions. Nice. And after you've done your ankle circles, you'll come to stillness with the foot and maybe take some knee circles to find the movement in the hip. And especially on days like this when we can wake up feeling groggy or it's cold, it's nice to just give the body the opportunity to just wake up slowly and gently. And then when you feel like you've completed all of that, you're going to go ahead and come to stillness. Interlace your hands at the back of your left thigh. Go ahead and straighten your left leg long so your foot is reaching up to the sky. And then you really try to kick your left leg away from your chest, but your hands pull it in towards you. And you do this for about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Notice that the leg can come any closer to your chest. Yep. And then we'll do that again. So straighten the leg if you've bent it. Kick the leg away from you and then pull it in. Good morning, Laura. And you're kicking for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and see if the leg can come any closer to your chest. And then last time, go ahead and interlace your hands behind the back of the leg, straighten the left leg long, and you're kicking it away and pulling it in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Gently release that. Hug the knee into the chest, grab your strap and place it around the ball of your left foot. From here, you'll re-extend your left leg up towards the sky. And some of you will keep that right knee bent. Some of you will straighten that right leg long on the floor beneath you. And if that right leg is long, you're really pushing down into the right foot. You're kicking up into the left foot. And then notice if you can soften any tension around your shoulders, any tension around your mouth. Sometimes we grip there. And then you'll just take a moment to breathe and settle and notice where you can soften. So the legs are active, but the chest doesn't need to be. Great. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will draw both ends of that strap into your right hand. You'll draw your left thumb to your left hip crease. Press your left hip away from your face. Keep pressing up into the left foot and cross the left leg a few inches over to the right. And you want to keep your butt completely on the floor as you pull your left hip away from your left shoulder. And you're just finding this little IT band stretch. Really reach your left heel away from your left hip, active through that foot. Yep. Nice work. And then as you're ready, you'll gently draw the leg back to center, bend the knee into your chest, remove the strap, and then hug the left knee towards your outer left armpit. Some of you will stay right here, really rooting into that right hip. Some of you will bring the left hand to the outside edge of the left foot. Send the left foot to the sky, the left knee to the floor, and take half happy baby. And you'll just take a moment to pause. So the left knee really opens to the left. The left arm is inside the left leg if possible. There you go. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. Yeah, good job, guys. Awesome. Very gently, you'll release your foot. You'll draw the knee back into center and then draw the left foot to the floor, bend the right knee and plant the right foot on the floor. For this, can I have you both draw both of your knees into your chest? Bring your hands to the inside edges of your thighs. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Press your feet towards each other. Draw your knees away from your chest and just notice what it feels like to make your butt really, really heavy as you press your feet into the floor, or rather into each other, your pelvis into the floor. And some of you will stay here. Some of you will open your knees to the floor, your feet to the sky, and take Ananda Balasana, happy baby. And you might notice what it feels like to have both feet go up at the same time to the sky. And you'll just pause and you'll breathe. Some of you will rock and roll a little bit right to left. Some of you will stay still and you just pay attention. And so there will always be stopping points. So if there's anything I say and you want to stop off at a previous point, by all means, just stop off there. And we'll all meet up together in a moment. All right. From here, let's draw our knees into our chest. Go ahead and plant your feet back onto the floor. Bring your hands to the top of your thighs, and I want you to push your thighs away from you until your arms become straight and lock out. And just notice what you notice happening in your low back. Great. Now release your spine back to neutral. Open your arms out into a T shape. And then draw your thighs perpendicular to the floor, shin bones parallel to the floor. So you're going to lift your feet away from the floor. Yeah. So a little 90-degree angle with those feet, like you're sitting in a chair on your back hip. You got it, Carrie. And now flex through both of your feet. Bring both of your hands back to the tops of your thighs like you just had them a moment ago. Now I want you to press into your thighs and kick your thighs into your hands until you start to feel your low belly engage. Your shin bones stay parallel to the floor. Your toes are pulling back towards your knees, and you're pushing your thighs away from you as your thighs try to come towards your face. So we've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently release, hug the knees into your chest. Now you've got your choices. You can rock a little bit right to left if you like. And then after you try that, you might come to stillness and you might rock forward and back along your spine. And then you might come to stillness after that. And you'll figure out how to get up to hands and knees. So some of you will rock forward and back. Some of you will roll over to your side, but we're going to get up to hands and knees. Awesome. Once you find yourself on hands and knees, I encourage you to have your blocks towards the upper outer corners of your space. I encourage you to use your towel or blanket to pad your knees. Great. And then the first thing we're going to do is just find some cats and cows once you get all your props set up. And so you'll just inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail, lift the head, and you'll exhale round through the spine. And you're just taking 4 or 5 of these, noticing what it feels like to flex and round the spine. Really going into your extension and then your flexion of the spine. And seeing if you can breathe as you go in and out of your cats and cows. Nice. Great. And then when you've done enough of those, we'll go ahead and come to stillness on our next in-breath. And when you come back to that neutral position, I want everyone to push down through your hands. Draw your low belly in a little bit so it feels like you're pulling your organs away from the floor. Send your right foot back, tuck the toes under. Now imagine that you're lifting just your inner right thigh, lift your whole right leg parallel to the floor, lifting from the inner right thigh. Yeah. Now slide your bum back, draw your low belly in again and reach your left hand forward. And we're going to pause here and breathe for about 3 to 5 breaths. And you keep pulling your low belly in. You keep lengthening your tailbone back. You reach back through your right foot as you lift your inner right thigh. Nice job, guys. And then at the end of your next exhale, lower your left hand, lower your right knee, take a few cats and cows, and just notice what you notice between the sides. Everything that we do is just a matter of learning, of gaining information, of finding where we are in space, where we are in time. And then when you feel complete, you'll come to a neutral spine. Again, press down through your hands, draw the low belly in, yep. Slide your left foot back, curl the toes under. And I want you to squeeze all the muscles around the left leg, lift the inner left thigh to float the left leg parallel to the floor. Yeah. From there, lengthen your tailbone back, draw the belly in again and reach your right hand forward, palm faces in. Yep. And then you've just got to breathe here. And you keep pulling the low belly in as you lift through the inner left thigh. Reach back through the left foot. Yep, for 3, for 2, for 1. Lower the right hand, lower the left knee. Take a few cats and cows on your own. And you just observe. So I find myself thinking about a couple of things. There are a couple of things that we know in life that we can never get back. One of them is sleep. The other one is time. And how do we remind ourselves of that so that we can be fully present in whatever is happening in our lives when it is happening? All right, let's go ahead and come to a neutral spine. We're gonna add on. Pull the low belly in again, press the floor away, slide your right foot back, curl the toes under. Slide your left foot back, curl the toes under. Plank pose, yep. Now from here, we wanna draw the low belly in again, lengthen your tailbone back, and I want everyone to lift the back of your head just a smidge. Yep. And then you're just going to pause and you're going to breathe for 3 steady breaths. And I want you to just observe what it feels like in this shape. You're just pulling the low belly in, you're lifting up through your inner armpits, and you're lengthening back through your tail. Nice job. On your next exhale, lower the right knee down, lower the left knee down, and come back to hands and knees. Take 3 more cats and cows and just observe what you notice now. How is the body moving? Do you feel heat in one particular part of the body? Do you feel stability in one particular part of the body? Nice job. As you're ready, you'll come to a still neutral spine. Press down into your left hand. Inhale, sweep your right arm out to the right and up to the sky. And then as you exhale, draw that right arm underneath you, bringing the back of the right arm, the shoulder, the chin to the floor for a twisted cat. And with that right arm on the floor, the right shoulder on the floor, you're going to press down into that left hand. Keep drawing your left hip straight back. Keep drawing your low belly in to support the spine. And just notice what happens if you push down into the right arm, right elbow. Notice what happens if you draw your chin slightly to your chest. Where do you feel this opening in your body? Nice work. On your next in-breath, push down into your left hand. Unwind the right arm back up to the sky. And then exhale, lower the right hand down. And then we'll try that on the other side. So press down into your right hand. Inhale, sweep the left arm to the left and up to the ceiling. And then exhale, wrap that arm underneath you, bringing the shoulder, the ear, the elbow to the floor. And now that you're here, let's go ahead and press down into that right hand. Press the back of the left arm, elbow, hand into the floor. And then notice if you can draw the low belly in as you draw your right hip straight back. Yeah. And notice how that changes the sensation. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Our breath is one of those things that also some say we can never get back. So how can we take the opportunity whenever it's presented to really take a full breath in? As you're ready, press down into that left hand, right hand. Inhale, sweep your left arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, lower it down to the floor. Nice job. From here, take 2 more cats and cows on your own. And again, you're just noticing what you notice in the body. Awesome. From here, we're going to go ahead and come to a neutral spine. I want you to walk your knees, ankles, and shins together. Curl both sets of toes under and then start to walk your butt back to your feet. From there, bring your spine all the way up to vertical. So from here, Chris and Carrie, you might want to make sure you tuck your pinky toes under. At some point, this may get too much, so you'll just stand tall on your shins. As we're ready, we'll inhale and sweep both of our arms up and over our head. Now, as you exhale, I want you to twist to your left, reach your right arm forward, your left arm back. Pay attention to your bum. Make sure you're still rooting your right sit bone down into your right heel. You're drawing your low belly in on the left side and you're reaching back and forward equally through your arms. Soften any tension around your shoulders. Nice job. Next, inhale, both arms come back up through center. As you exhale, we'll twist to the right. So your right arm goes back, your left arm goes forward, your low belly draws in on the right side. And then really pay attention to the weight of your left sit bone on your left heel. Soften your shoulders and reach out equally through both arms. Nice job. Next, inhale, come back up through center. This time, exhale, open the arms out to the right and to the left. Interlace the hands at your low back. Draw the shoulders up to your ears. Draw the shoulder blades together on your back and reach your arms away from you. And you might have the hands going back or they might be going down, but you're just finding an opening across your chest. And you've got 2 more breath cycles here. At the end of your next exhalation, release your hands, come forward, hands and knees, have a little pitter-patter temper tantrum with the tops of the feet on the floor. Literally tapping the feet if that feels good to you. After that, you may stay there or you may choose to shift your weight back and lift one end or both knees up and away from the floor for a counter stretch, provided knees, ankles, and shins permit that. Nice work. All right. From here, we're going to go ahead and come forward onto hands and knees. You're going to curl your toes under and make our way to our first downward facing dog. Now, because we opened up our hamstrings, hopefully our down dogs feel a little bit more luscious today than they would ordinarily. And you can keep your knees bent as much as possible in order to keep your bum up to the sky and then push the hands down and forward. From there, if your spine stays long, you might start to straighten your legs. Nice work, guys. And you'll just take 3 breaths. And I want you to come back to the things that for you are really important. So I started off with sleep as something that we can't get back. Time is something we can't get back. Our breath is something we can't get back. Certain experiences are things we cannot get back. And we want to remind ourselves of that when we're in those moments when sometimes it can be challenging to remain fully present. So how can we remind ourselves that our practice right now is sort of training us to be present for our partners, to be present for our work, to be present for our children or our pets? Awesome. Let's go ahead and move on. On your next in-breath, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, draw your right knee to your nose. Hover here for a moment and then carefully plant the right foot on the floor. Nice job. Once the right foot is on the floor between your hands, you'll pause here. Everyone push down into your right foot so the whole foot is on the floor. The left foot is up, and then some of you will bring a block underneath your left hand. Everyone bring your right hand to your outer right thigh. Push your right thigh to the right. Press your right thigh to the left. Reach your heart forward and then start to rotate your rib cage to the right. And as you start to rotate your rib cage to the right and maybe look to the right, some of you will stay there pressing the right hand into the thigh, thigh into the hand. Some of you will reach your right arm up towards the sky for a revolved low lunge. And wherever you are, continue to breathe. See if that head can be in line with your spine and your legs are active. Nice job. On your next exhale, lower the right hand to the floor. Lower the left hand to the floor. Lift your pelvis up enough to slide your right foot back to meet the left in plank pose. Great. Now this time in plank, we're going to shift our weight forward, and I want you to keep your bum and your head in the same line, and you're going to lower slower than you want to until your chest and hips touch at the same time. Your head is the last thing to touch. Nice work, guys. Once you find yourself all the way down on your abdomen, slide your hands back just a smidge. Press down into the tops of the feet. Lengthen your tailbone back, and an inhale, pull your heart and forward, your heart and sternum forward and up to come into cobra. Nice job. And you come as high or as low as you want. And then you'll exhale and lower all the way down. From here, curl your toes under. Draw your low belly in, and either through hands and knees or plank, you'll push up to hands and knees, or you'll push up to plank, and then you'll make your way back to downward facing dog. Nice work, guys. 3 breaths. And you just notice, how can you be more present for this? My friend and I were having a conversation. She's a psychologist, so of course she loves having difficult conversations, but we gave ourselves a practice that each one of us this week is working with some aspect of life that we find to be challenging at times. And how do we remind ourselves to be fully present in those moments? When you're ready, you'll inhale and sweep your left leg up and back. Yep. And then exhale, draw the left knee to the nose. Pause and hover here for a breath. Lower the left foot down to the floor. And then some of you will bring a block underneath your right hand. All of us will make our spine super long. Draw that left hand to the outer left thigh, hip, knee area. And then you're going to push your thigh towards your midline and kick your thigh towards your hands. From there, you'll start to rotate your rib cage towards the left. From there, you might stay there, or you might reach your left arm up towards the sky. Yeah, and you'll just take 3 to 5 breaths here. Press down into that right hand a lot, scoop the left low belly a lot, and just pause and breathe. Nice work. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower that left hand to the floor, lower the right hand to the floor, lift your hips enough to slide your left foot back to meet the right in plank pose. And you'll just take a moment to pause here. As you're ready, you'll shift your weight forward and slowly lower down. So chest and hips lower and touch at the same time. When you get all the way down, you'll slide your hands back, pull your heart forward, and come up into your version of cobra. Yep. And then you'll exhale and lower all the way down. Curl the toes under. Draw the low belly in, and then your option. You either come up through hands and knees or directly into plank, and then you'll make your way back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. 3 breaths. Nice work, guys. All right. Let's go ahead and inhale. As you exhale, I want you to draw the low belly in. Next in-breath, raise to the balls of your feet. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, and you'll start to travel to the top of your space, however you want to get there. Now, when you get to the top of your space, I encourage you to separate your feet about hip distance apart. Some of you will slide that block between your shin bones. If you don't have a block, not to worry, just keep your feet hip distance apart, legs super straight. And then from here, what we're going to do is I want you to just press into your feet. If you've got that block, hug into the block. If you don't have a block, just imagine your legs drawing towards your midline, so right underneath you. From here, let's inhale and reach your heart and sternum forward, parallel to the floor. Great. As you exhale, see if you can lift your back of the skull just a little bit. Yep. Draw your low belly in just a little bit. From here, bend your knees, sweep your arms back alongside your hips. And then inhale, bring your spine all the way up to vertical. So you're sitting in a chair pose, squeezing that block. Awesome. So now that we're squeezing that block, we're going to inhale, reach our arms forward and see if you can sit your butt a little lower. And then see if you can reach your arms alongside your ears. So just as we did before, we're going to exhale and twist to your left. So your right arm is going to go forward, your left arm is going to go back. We're going to hope that our knees are still staying center, and you're going to reach back through your back arm as you reach forward through your front arm and continue to sit your pelvis low. Nice job. Next in-breath, both arms are going to come forward once again. Then you're going to reach them up and over your head. Awesome. And then we'll exhale and go to the other side. So this time your right arm is going to go back. Your left arm is going to go forward. You're still bending into both of your knees. You're actively reaching out through both of your arms, drawing your low belly in to support your spine. Nice job. Next in-breath, that right arm will come forward to meet the left. Both arms will reach up and alongside your ears. Then you're going to sit for 3. You're going to sit for 2. See if you can go a little lower. You're going to sit for 1. Next in-breath, stand up, reach up, maybe look up. And then as you exhale, go ahead and lower your arms out to the right and to the left. If you need to fidget around once you get there, by all means do that. Great. And you just notice, how can we be present to what's happening right here, right now? All right, we're going to start to add on now. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Remove your block. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, slide your left leg long and back. You may lower your back knee to the floor, patting it if need be, and then you're going to start to walk your hands up the center of your front thigh. I want you to push down into your right foot a lot, and you're going to see if you can lift up through the chest as you really push down through that front foot. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will reach your left arm up. If you've got that back leg lifted, you're going to have to really work on stability. Some of you will reach both arms up. Back knee can be completely down. Both of this is fine. We're just trying to open up the front of our body. Awesome. As you're ready, we're going to lower that right hand back down to our right thigh. This time you're going to really have it on the outside edge of your right hip, and we're going to lean a little bit towards your right. So if the right leg is still lifted, you're finding a fun stretch here. If the right leg or left leg is lower, you're still finding a fun stretch, and you're just paying attention. On your next in-breath, go ahead and come back up through center. As you're ready, we're going to exhale and lower our hands down to the floor. Now from here, if your back leg is not lifted, lift your back leg off the floor, keeping the toes tucked under. And then now you're going to straighten your front leg too. So both legs are straight, hands are probably on blocks, and you're going to pause and you're going to breathe. And you're just going to notice what this feels like. Some of you will stay here, both legs parallel. Some of you will peel the sole of your right foot up and away from the floor, feeling a little stretch in the back of your hamstring. So Chris, come to the ball of your back foot. Yeah, and then bend your front knee for me even more. Bring your hands to the floor. Yep. Great, and now for you, I want you to just lower the back knee to the floor and shift your butt back. It'll get you the same stretch without rounding your back. Great. Now from here, let's all go ahead and shift our weight forward. Plant our palms on the mat. Step your front foot back to meet your back foot for plank pose once again. You can stay here. You can cycle through that baby cobra, or you can go back to downward facing dog. You choose what works for you based upon what you are needing. And you'll notice that what you might do might be completely different than the person either next to you or on the screen, and that's completely okay, but you're just going to take a moment to breathe. How do you be present for you? How do you be present for your life? Always it requires different things. Sometimes we have to be intense. Sometimes we have to be soft. Sometimes we have to be forgiving. Sometimes we have to hold others accountable. It always changes. All right, from down dog, we'll go ahead and take a big breath in. As you exhale, you'll bend your knees, empty your belly, and either step or float to the top of your space. Yep. Once you get to the top of your space, so back into our forward fold, you'll take a moment to pause. And then from here, we'll switch sides. So we'll inhale and heart and sternum will reach forward. This time you'll bend your knees. You'll slide your right leg long and back. Awesome. Some of you will lower that back knee down to the mat. Some of you will not. We'll then walk both of our hands up to the front thigh. We're really pushing down into our left foot. And we might choose to stay there or stay there, but then you'll reach your right arm up. And we're just finding the stability in our leg. If the front leg is, well, both legs are whatever. We're just finding the stability in the front leg. And you might reach both arms up or not. Option now to bring your left hand to your left hip. And then you'll take a little side bend over towards the left. And whether that back knee is up or not, we're really pushing down into our front knee or front foot, and we're pushing down into our back point of contact. Awesome. From here, let's go ahead and come back through center. Lower your hands down to the floor. Straighten your back leg long, and then you'll straighten your front leg long. And you might need to bring hands to blocks to make that happen. You might need to bend the back knee down and put it on the floor in order to straighten the front leg long. Yeah, there you go, guys. And you're just going to pause and you're going to breathe and you're going to notice. Some of you will peel the sole of that left foot up and away from the floor. Some of you will not. Some of you will externally rotate that front leg. Some of you will not. Yeah. Great. As you're ready, let's go ahead and shift our weight forward. Bend our front knee, plant your hands on the mat. Step your front foot back to meet your back foot, plank pose. Option to cycle through an up dog or a cobra. Option to go straight back to downward facing dog. And you just take a moment to pause and you take a moment to breathe wherever you end up. And you just notice, what are those moments in life for you? My friend was telling me that she had a health scare with her child. And, you know, it was one of those moments where I love this friend. She's the only one that's really honest about it. She talks about how hard parenting is. And so, you know, she said, sometimes I just really don't like my child. But in that moment when she was so sick, I just wanted to remember how much patience I had for her. Because she says it doesn't always happen for her. And I think that happens to a lot of us all the time. You know, there's certain things that are important to us, but we don't always have the patience for them. And we can't always get that time back. Great. From down dog, we're going to make our way forward to the top of our space. So you'll take a big breath in. You'll exhale, bend your knees, empty your belly, and travel to the top of your space. Great. Once you find yourself there, again, we'll inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then you'll stay here for a breath cycle. Shift your weight forward so the weight's even on your legs and on your feet. Yep. From there, bring your hands back alongside your hips, palms face down. So more like that airplane thing. Yep. From here, inhale, bend your knees. Sit your butt low, bring your spine up, reach your arms forward. Utkatasana. Great. Some of you will stay right here, really pushing into your feet, really hugging your outer edges of your hips in. Some of you will start to shift your weight over to your right foot, making your left leg a little bit lighter, left toes a little bit lighter. You'll then draw your left leg across, maybe touch the left toes to the floor or the block to the left, maybe wrap the foot behind you. Some of you will then cross your left arm underneath your right and maybe double wrap the arms for Garudasana. And you'll just pause and you'll just breathe. And you'll notice what this feels like to draw the elbows forward and sit the pelvis low. And then we'll gently start to come out of this. So you'll release your left foot. You'll release your arms. You'll see if you can sit back into that crazy chair pose. I know that's crazy. Chair, sit there. I know, so not fun. And then when you're ready, you'll stand up. You'll reach up. You'll look up. Then you'll open your arms out as you exhale. You might roll the shoulders, move the hips, fidget around in any way that feels good to you. But you'll just notice how that feels because we're going to enter that one more time from the other side. And we're just using this as a training ground to be present. Yeah. And then as we're ready, we'll try it on the other side. So let's inhale, circle sweep your arms up and over your head. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. Great. From here, inhale, halfway lift. Draw your spine parallel to the floor. As you exhale, hover here for a moment. Shift the weight forward so it's equal on the feet. Then from there, make your hands light enough that you can sweep them back alongside your hips, palms face down. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your butt low, bring your chest up, and then reach your arms forward. I don't know why this helps, but for some reason, having the arms forward seems to help. And then you're going to start to shift your weight over into your left leg. You'll maybe start to make your right foot a little lighter, lift the whole right thigh. You might just tap the right toes over to the floor or the block. You might wrap them behind the back of the left calf. From there, you'll cross your right arm underneath your left and maybe double wrap the arms for Garudasana, eagle arms. And then you'll just pause and you'll breathe. And if you fall out of it, you fall out of it. Keep bending into your left leg. Yep. As you're ready to come out of it, the right foot goes over to the left. The arms unwind. You uncross your right leg. You sit back into that chair pose for 3 more breaths. For 2 more breaths. And for 1 more breath. Then you'll reach up, you'll stand up, you'll look up. You'll exhale and open the arms. Take a moment to sigh it out. Wiggle the body in any way that feels good to you. Nice job, guys. And you just wiggle and move. And then when you feel complete with all that, you'll come back to stillness. And we're going to go ahead and add on. Or Laura, that's going to be funny. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, inhale, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms. This time slide your left leg long and back. Okay, spin your left foot to the floor for warrior 1, so slightly to the left, and then push down into both feet and come all the way up for Virabhadrasana 1. So you might do that same thing that we did before, walking the hands up the thigh, or you might just bring the spine all the way up to vertical. Yeah. And then we're just going to pause here for a moment. I want you to really push down onto the knife edge of your back foot. So that's the pinky toe edge. Really push down into the center of your front foot. Draw the low belly in and the tailbone down. Great. And then notice if you're breathing. Awesome. From here, let's take our right hand to our right hip. Inhale, straighten your front leg long. As you exhale, reach forward through your left arm all the way until it sort of brings itself onto the floor or block underneath your left shoulder. From here, we're going to repeat what we did on the floor, but a little bit more intensely. So make sure your left hand is underneath your left shoulder. You might come to your left fingertips. Pull your right hip back, reach your spine forward until it's parallel to the floor. Yep. And then you might start to draw the belly in on the right side and rotate your chest to the right and maybe reach your right arm up. Yeah. And then as you're ready, you're gently going to lower that right arm back down. You'll bend the front knee. You'll plant the right palm on the mat. You'll plant the left palm on the mat. And you'll step back to a plank pose. And you'll just pause there and you'll breathe. Some of you will shift your weight forward and go through an up dog or cobra. Some of you will not. Whatever choice you choose to make, can you allow yourself to be fully present in it? And I keep saying that, but it's interesting because sometimes to be present requires that we do less. Sometimes it means that we just notice what it feels like to have our hands in contact with the floor. Sometimes it means that we pay attention to how the breath is moving in the body, how we feel heat in the body, where we feel sensation. All right, from down dog, you'll take a big breath in. You'll take a big breath out. On your next in-breath, lift your heels. As you exhale, bend the knees, empty the belly, step or float, top of space. Nice job. Once you find yourself there back at the top of your mat in a forward fold, you'll go ahead and inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold all the way in. And now we'll try the other side. So inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, slide your right leg long and back. Spin your right foot to the floor for warrior one, and then when you're rooted in your feet, you'll inhale and bring your spine up to vertical. Great. From here, both arms reach up. And again, we're paying attention to what's happening in our back foot. So you're really pressing your right pinky toe to the floor. You're really pushing into the center of your left foot. And then you're noticing if you can guide your left hip back a little bit as you continue to bend forward into your left knee. There you go. From here, let's bring our left hand to our left hip. Inhale, reach up through your right arm. As you exhale, go ahead and straighten your front leg long. And then you'll inhale and reach forward, out and down, coming all the way to the floor with that right hand. The right hand will come underneath you to a block or to the floor. And then from there, lift your spine parallel to the floor. Keep your front leg straight. Draw your low belly in as you pull your left hip back. And then you'll rotate your rib cage to the left. You might stack your left shoulder on top of the right. You might reach your left arm up. And then you'll just pause here and you'll breathe. Lift the back of your head so it's in line with your heart. Other way, Roberta. And then as you're ready, you'll exhale and you'll lower that left hand to the floor. You'll bend your front knee, you'll plant both palms, and then you'll step back to plank pose. And then you choose whether you shift forward, go through a cobra or up dog, or whether you meet back in downward facing dog. And then you've got 3 breaths once you get back to down dog. And I want you to notice what it feels like for you to be in this moment. Do you need to be still and present? Does the body ask that you move something around? But you respond by being fully present to what's happening here, right now, in this moment. Nice job. From down dog, you'll take a big breath in. As you exhale, bend your knees, empty your belly, step or travel to the top of your space. Nice work. From there, let's go ahead and inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, stay here. Take a moment to shift your weight forward into your feet a little bit more. Scoop the belly in a little bit more. Slide your hands back alongside your hips so their palms are facing down. And then you'll inhale, bend your knees. You'll sweep your arms forward. You'll sit your pelvis down. Last chair pose. And this one, the arms can be forward like zombies, or you might reach them up and alongside your ears for fierce pose or Utkatasana. And you'll breathe for 3. You'll breathe for 2. You'll breathe for 1. Next inhale, stand up, reach up, look up. And then exhale, lower your hands out. Wiggle the body in any way that feels good to you. Just seeing how you feel. Okay. Last little thing. Let's go ahead and turn to face the long edge of our mat. I want you all to be towards, I don't know, maybe the top of your mat. We're just going to do something before I make you do a balancing pose. So this comes from PT work. If you stand towards one end, you're going to bring your hands to your hip And then you're going to just step your left foot to the left and then draw your feet back to each other. And we're going to do about 5 to 10 of these. And you can decide to get creative and take a one-legged Tadasana in between if you want, meaning you draw your foot to your knee instead of your feet together. And we're just stabilizing the outer hips before I make you balance. Haha, good job. Nice job. Nice job. So Laura, actually step the feet together. There you go. And after you've done about 5 to 10 on one side, you'll turn around and you'll do the other side. And so because we sit all day long, this muscle gets very weak. And so I think this is why balancing poses are so hard for us, because we don't have the stability in our outer hips. And as best as you can, even when you go to the side, don't let your chest dip towards the floor. That's kind of cheating. There we go. And if you're balancing on one leg, hooray, little dancers in training, you're doing little passes. Okay. After you've done an equal number on both sides, let's go ahead and come back to the top of our space. Okay, now we're going to see how all of that works. So let's go ahead and pour all the weight into our right leg. Draw your left knee up towards your chest. So this is the very same pose that we started in at the very beginning of our practice. So let's really draw all the weight down to the right leg, hug the left knee in. Some of you can stay right here. Some of you are going to interlace your hands at the back of your thigh. You're going to kick your thigh down and into your hands as you stick your butt back behind you just a little bit and lift up through your head. Flex through your left foot. Yep, some of you will stay right here. Some of you will straighten that leg in front of you, just like we did when we were on our back. And we're just going to pause, and we're going to breathe, and we're going to pause, and we're going to breathe. Yep, and then when you're ready, you'll bend the knee, you'll lower the foot to the floor, shake and wiggle things out if that feels good to you. And then we'll try all that on the other side. So we're going to pour all of our weight into our left leg like it's a sandbag. You draw your right hand, or rather right knee, towards your chest. And I do encourage you to flex through that foot. And some of you will stay right here, happy as a clam. Some of you will interlace your hands underneath your your right thigh. And then you kick your thigh down and away, and you kick your butt back behind you. Some of you will stay there. Some of you will straighten your right leg parallel-ish to the floor. Yeah, look at that, good job. Then we'll gently bend the knee, release the foot, shake and wiggle it out. Okay, I wanted to do 2 more balances. Do we think we got it? Yeah, okay. So this time we're going to pour all the weight back into our right leg. Our left leg is going to come up to us. Let's bring our hands to our hips. If this at any point becomes too much, you just hug your knee into your chest and you stay there. Take your right hand to the outside edge of your left thigh. Keep your left hand on your left hip. Lift up through your spine, flex through your left foot, and start to pull your left low belly in as you rotate your rib cage to the left. You might stay there, or you might float your left arm back. And you're going to pause, and you're going to breathe, and you're going to pause, and you're going to breathe. Nice job. Gently draw that left hand back to the left hip. Draw the right hand back to the right hip. Unwind the spine and lower the leg down. That wasn't too bad. And you shake and wiggle it out if you want. Just resets the nervous system. And then we'll try all that on the other side. So really transfer your weight first to your left leg before you try to lift your right leg. It just centers all your balance. And then your hands might stay on your hips. You might hug your right knee into your chest. But we'll take our left hand to the outside edge of our right thigh, lift up through your spine, send your butt back just a little bit, flex through your right foot, scoop the belly on the right side, and rotate to the right. You might then float your right arm parallel-ish to the floor, but you're really pushing your right knee into your left hand, pulling your left knee into your right hand. Nice job. And then gently draw the right hand to the right hip, left hand to the left hip. Unwind the spine and lower down. Fantabulous, people. And then again, wiggle it around as you need to. Great. Last little thing. Let's go ahead and inhale. Come to the top of our space, feet hip distance apart. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward at your hips, Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Nice job, guys. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms. See if you can keep your arms just like this as you bend your knees really deeply. Slide your right foot back. Slide your left foot back. Yep, now you're in that plank pose. Yeah, good job, guys. From there, let's just go to downward facing dog. Great. Okay, last little thing to stretch our hip flexors. Let's inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your right foot quietly between your hands. Lower your back knee to the floor, patting it if you need to. Now from here, you're once again going to walk your hands up the front of your right thigh. This time I want you to push down into your right foot a lot, push down into your left knee a lot, suck those points together, and then see if you can reach your heart forward and then up to maybe look towards the sky. So we're really allowing the upper back bend to happen here. We're trying to find a stretch happening on the front of our left thigh. Some of you will reach that left arm up to intensify it. Some of you will reach your right arm up to intensify it. It's really just going to test the balance as well as the strength and the stability in the core and the legs. Great. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and lower our hands back down to the floor. I want you to shift your weight back and straighten your front leg long. Now peel the sole of your right foot up and away from the floor, drawing the toes towards your face, and you're going to pause and you're going to breathe. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will slide your right foot a little further forward away from your face, just to find a little bit more of that half split stretch. Great. As we're ready, we're going to shift our weight enough to bend our front knee, put our foot on the floor, plant our hands on the floor, straighten the back leg long, and step back to downward facing dog. We're going to try that on the other side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Exhale, step the foot quietly between your hands. Lower the back knee to the floor. Walk both hands up the front thigh. Press into the front foot, press into the back knee, hug those points together and see if you can really keep scooping your low belly in and up. Then you're going to reach your chest forward to come up so that you can maybe look towards the sky. You might then reach your right arm up and it just will intensify what you're feeling on the right side. You might also reach the left arm up. Yep. And you're just really seeing if you can pull the legs together, scoop the low belly, find that nice stretch across the front of the thigh. Then as you're ready, hands come down to the floor. Shift your weight back, straighten your front leg long. Peel the sole of your left foot up and away from the floor. Some of you might stay there. Some of you might slide your left heel away from you. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And if you're moving the left thigh, make sure the left toes are still pulling back towards your left knee. Great. Now let's go ahead and shift our weight forward. Plant the sole of your left foot on the floor. Plant your hands on the mat. Straighten the back leg long. Step back to plank pose. Lower your knees to the mat. Walk your hands back and stand on your shins. Okay. So if you have a block, you might slide a block between your inner upper thighs. If you don't have a block, no worries, but we are going to imagine that there's something there. And then I want you to curl both sets of toes under. Okay. And then from here, let's just bring our hands to our hips. So whether or not you have a block, your outer legs are hugging in like they were when we were in eagle pose and you had to hug everything in. Your tailbone is dropping straight down and you're pulling your low belly in and up. Now, with your hands on your hips, draw your shoulders up to your ears, draw your shoulder blades together on your back. If you've got that block, you squeeze in, and then you'll start to reach your chest forward and up to look up towards the sky. hugging the legs together. Chest is coming forward and up, low belly's pulling in, tailbone's dropping down. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will reach one hand back to touch one heel. Some of you will reach the other hand back to touch the other heel. And then you're hugging those shoulder blades together. You're drawing the low belly in. You're reaching the heart forward and up. Yep, you got it, Carrie. And then as you're ready, you are going to pull your belly in a lot to come out of this shape. And then you'll come all the way up to vertical. Sit your butt back on your heels like we did for toe squat. And just take a moment to pause there. Close your eyes and just breathe. And just notice what you notice. From here, you'll come forward to hands and knees and make your way to your last and final downward facing dog. For this down dog, I do want you to bend your knees as much as you need to keep your spine long and straight. Keep lifting up through your inner armpits. Great. And then notice if your ears are in line with your arms. So maybe draw your chin closer to your chest just a little bit. There you go, Barbara. And just breathe. And then when we're ready, lower your knees to the mat. Bring your butt to the mat and swivel your legs in front of you. So with your legs now in front of you, some of you may choose to sit on your blanket again, and you'll just have it underneath your sit bones. Legs are in front of you for Dandasana. Great, and we want to sit as tall as we can. And then we're going to bend one knee and then the other. Draw the soles of your feet together and let your knees open and splay like a book. You can hold on to the tops of your ankles, pull your heart and sternum forward, and you're just going to hinge forward, keeping your spine as long and as straight as it can be. Maybe your elbows press into your inner thighs, maybe they do not, but you're just pausing and you're breathing. And then very gently, we're going to come out of this shape. Bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Close your knees together like a book. Hold on to the backs of your legs and walk your legs forward. You're going to then slowly roll all the way down. So if you're sitting on that blanket, you might take that off, but you're going to curl your tailbone under and slowly roll all the way down to the floor, slowly walking your hands back until you make it onto your back. Awesome. And so you're back to where you started at the very beginning of the practice. And I want you to notice if you can straighten your legs long and just notice what feels different about this shape right here, right now. Can the arms be off the body for just a moment to notice how your chest feels, how your shoulder blades feel, how your hips feel? There's so many things that we have to remind ourselves that they're worth doing for the doing of them, because in the end, they do somehow change and transform us. And that's the thing, that while certain aspects cannot be brought back, other aspects also cannot be lost. So very gently, we'll go ahead and bend both of our knees, plant our feet firmly on the floor. I want you to open your arms outside or to a T shape to your sides. Widen your feet to the outer edges of your hips. And then slowly let your legs fall over to the right. Take a moment to pause here. The feet are still pretty far apart from each other. Yep. And then you'll inhale and draw the knees back up to center. And then you'll exhale and slowly let the knees fall over to the left. And you'll just take a few breath cycles here. And then you'll inhale and draw both legs back up through center. And we're going to do that 1 to 2 more times each side. So some of you might just go back to the right. You might choose that you want to have your right ankle on top of your left. You might choose that you want to stack both legs on top of each other. You might find that you want to have your bottom leg, your right leg long as your left knee stays bent. but you're just going to take a moment to be in your twist as you have it. And you've got about 3 more breath cycles on this side. And then you'll gently inhale and come back up through center. Take a moment to pause in the center before you visit at the other side. And you're just observing what it feels like when you go to the other side. Our right side and our left side are very different animals. How we are moment to moment is always a very different creature. And the more that we can, sort of honor and accept and appreciate that, I think the less time we'll, lament the parts of life that we can't get back. I think about my own moments when I feel like I'm having an earth-shattering moment and how I'm like, this is going to be different. I'm going to be kinder to this person, or I'm going to do this. And then, life happens. But life is always going to happen. And so how do we remind ourselves that when we make a vow or a promise or an observation that we can start again? The time is gone, but we are not. We have memories, we have knowledge, we have information. As you're ready, you'll gently inhale and come back through center. Just take a moment to observe what's different between your sides. Also take a moment to notice if there's any final shape or shapes that your body might be craving. So some of you might want to visit Happy Baby again. Some of you might want Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees open and splayed like a book. Some of you might want to do a figure 4 Sukhi Randrasana, but you just take a moment to check in. All the experiences that you've had, they lead us somewhere. They give us experience and information and knowledge and wisdom. And that allows us to make the most of the time that we do have, the breaths that we do have, the moments and the relationships and experiences and opportunities that we do have. So you've got about, 5 to 10 more breath cycles. If you did something asymmetrical, please visit the other side. When you do feel complete, having done whatever you wanted to do, I want you to make your way to your final resting pose. So as we come to our final Shavasana shape, it can be cold. So if you want to make sure you wrap the body, that might help the body settle into stillness. Great. When we find ourselves in this final shape, whatever it happens to be for today, I want you to start by taking a scan of the body and notice where there's any unnecessary tension. So you might start by just wiggling the shoulders a little bit so it feels like the right and the left shoulder blade are equally touching the floor. You might notice if you have to lift your butt a little bit so it feels like your right and left hip are equally rooted on the floor. Yeah. You might notice if you need to open and close your mouth a few times so it feels like the jawbone releases. And then if the hands are on the body, can you really soften any tension that's there so that they can just rest on the body? And if the hands are off the body, can they face up in a receiving offering? And then we'll end by just taking a few breaths here. So I want you to take a big, big, big breath in, and then a big breath out through the mouth. And you'll do that 2 more times. Big audible breath in, Big audible breath out. And last time, big breath in. Audible breath out. The next time you breathe in, hold the breath at the top for a beat or two, and then an audible breath out. Two more just like that. Big breath in. Hold the breath at the top. Feel the sensations, and then a big breath out. And then one more time, just like that. Big breath in. Hold the breath at the top. Feel the building of sensation. And then notice the release as you exhale. And our last cycle, take a deep breath in. Top of your inhalation, hold the breath. See if you can sip in a little bit more breath. And then exhale and let everything go. And you'll do that 2 more times on your own. So you'll take a big breath in. The top of your inhalation, you'll hold your breath. You'll draw in a little bit more breath. And then exhale and let it all go. And last time, deep breath in. Hold the breath at your top. Sip in a little bit more breath. And then exhale and let it all go. You'll continue to be here with yourself, letting the breath return to its natural, involuntary rate. And I encourage you to just notice if you can notice the sensations in the body. There's nothing to do about them. You just observe and you just witness them. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. Really notice what you notice in this moment. Notice what you're feeling, what you're sensing, how you're breathing. If there's any part of you longing to linger in this shape, by all means, stay here for a few more moments or a few more breaths. When you are ready to move on with your day, you will allow small movement to re-enter into your physical form in whatever way feels good to you. As you're ready, you'll start to make your way over to one of your sides and you'll just pause there for a few breath cycles. And on your side, just feel the floor beneath you. Notice what it feels like to breathe in this orientation. And then you'll gently start to roll your chest more towards the floor, press into your top hand, and start to walk your spine to vertical, letting the head be the last thing that comes up. When you are vertical, I encourage you to take the opportunity to sit on a block or a blanket or a pillow, anything so that the spine can be long. And then, as best as you can, keeping the gaze either soft or the eyes closed. I want you to feel what it feels like to plant the hands maybe on the thighs in a place where your heart can be open, shoulders can slide down the back. If you need to fidget or wiggle around just a little bit to feel what it feels like to sit up tall, by all means do that. And then when you feel complete with that, let's bring one hand to our heart, the other hand either to the belly or stacking on top of the heart. And then we're just going to take 3 breaths here. We each have one beautiful life to live. And how do we allow ourselves to remember that no matter what's happening in any given moment, we can be fully attentive to it, can be present with it, knowing that there's not everything else that we need to be doing. Each and every one of us, just by showing up, has something uniquely beautiful to offer. And so how can we remind ourselves of that? How can we remind ourselves that others also have a beautiful, unique gift to provide, even when what they're doing doesn't seem like what we want them to be doing? You'll take 3 more breaths here, really feeling the contact that your hands have with your torso, your breath has with your torso. The end of your 3rd exhalation, both hands will come to heart center, Anjali Mudra. You'll press the palms into each other. You'll receive the weight of your thumbs into your chest, and you'll lift your heart back up to your thumbs. Soften any tension around your jaw and gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. To that light, to that breath, to that presence and sound, we bow. Namaste.